the interest of AL and AL. Is the mother Tiffany Weaver present? Ms. Weaver, is that you? If you can unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you very much. And the father, Aaron Langford, you appear to be unmuted. If you can answer present, sir.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, thank you very, very much. Let me get the two of you and everyone else who may testify, if you will raise your right hands at this time, please. Raise your right hands at this time. Do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Bear with me just a moment. My notes tell me that I have Ms. Hollier in a dual role, and I see Ms. McGallion.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't know it's my understanding I was contacted by Ms. McGallion, and it's my understanding that CASA's act requesting to be put on the case. And I certainly don't have any objection to that.
We have a new advocate judge that is, her desire is to have a Hardin County case. So I saw it on the docket and reached out to Ms. Hollier. And we had just discussed if she was okay with us being the guardian, if you were okay with it.
Okay. And I do recall swearing in an advocate not too long ago that, as I recall, lived in Hardin County, wanted a Hardin County case. I subsequently appointed CASA to probably the first case after that, and I'm wondering if that went through. But
we have 3 new Hardin County ones.
Right. But there was one specifically who, and I want to say her background's in education, but the more the better. Ms. Hollier, if you don't have any objections.
I don't.
And if no one else has any objections, then I will appoint CASA as the guardian ad litem from the virtual bench. And Ms. McGallion, if you can see to it. Well, you all work together because I'm going to have to substitute CASA for one of Ms. Hollier's hats. All right. So to be clear, both children, Ms. McGallion.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. Okay. All right. With that, my understanding is that you all have an agreement. Maybe not exactly regarding placement, but to that end, Ms. Davis, you may call your first.
Your Honor, may I say something too? I talked with my client, and he's in agreement for CPS to take temporary marriage and conservatorship, obviously, but not with the allegations. And he has an alternate placement that I can get the names to CPS if Ms. Johnson is not approved.
Okay. And okay. So I see is Ms. Greenleaf the investigator, or will she be the conservatorship worker?
She's the investigator.
Okay. All right. So we'll find out momentarily who the worker is. And so you can get that information to either Ms. Greenleaf or the subcare worker.
Your Honor, Ms. Carolyn Kamak, if she wants to provide that to her while we can at least look into her.
Okay, so that's Ms. Kamak. I believe it's CAMMACK, Ms. Wright.
Okay.
Yes.
There she is.
And Your Honor, I just wanted to announce, yes, my client is in agreement for the department taking temporary managing conservatorship. She wants to work services to have her children returned home to her. And she does not agree to everything that is in the affidavit. And I know that she wanted placement as well with her mother, Deborah Johnson. And I guess I'll have to find out her opinion when I find out who the alternate placement is going to be.
Okay, and so very good. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for your presence, your agreement, and your willingness to work services, irrespective of whether you agree with the details and so on. So, Ms. Wright, do you want to elicit that name from testimony, or do you want to go ahead and announce
I
that?
can email it to the information I have. My client, obviously, he only has one phone number, and I don't have perfect information, but they're folks that live in, so they're local.
Okay. All right. Thank you. With that, Ms. Davis, you may call your first. I did swear everyone in, didn't I?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was like 30 minutes ago. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Davis. You may proceed.
I will call Miss Greenleaf. Kaylin, can you state your name for the court?
Kaylin Greenleaf.
And are you the investigator who investigated the allegations in this case?
Yes.
And did you, well, first, where are the children currently placed?
They're in a foster home in Tyler, Texas.
And how are they doing in that placement?
They're doing well.
Are they up to date medically?
Yes.
And are there any issues or concerns with the current placement moving forward?
No, ma'am.
Do you believe it's in their best interest to remain there at this time?
Yes.
Did you hear the agreement or that the parents are in agreement for the department to take temporary managing conservator at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
And is the department asking the court to grant that today so that we can work with the family to address the needs of this family?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe that to be in the best interest of the children?
I do.
Has the department looked into Miss Johnson as a possible placement for these two children?
Yes.
And she also has custody of Miss Weaver's other children, correct?
Yes, she does.
And how many other children are in the home?
3.
Okay. What at this time, what concerns does the department have with placing the children in Miss Johnson's home?
The concerns were an admission to marijuana use by Miss Johnson in the home.
Okay. Are there any other concerns regarding the medical needs of the children at this time?
No,
Or is
ma'am.
that something we should pass or ask Miss Kamak about?
Probably the CPS, but I'm not aware of any medical issues moving forward with Miss Johnson.
Okay. And was it reported to you by the parents that there were no concerns for the children's medical needs before brought into care?
That's correct.
And while you were investigating this case, where did you believe Miss Weaver and the children to be living?
When we first came into the case, she was with Miss Johnson. Then once I asked her to submit for drug testing. I was given multiple addresses they possibly could have been at.
Okay. But originally it was that she was living in the home with Miss Johnson, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Based on the agreement, are you asking the court to continue the prior orders that were put into place regarding any drug testing prior to any visits?
Yes.
And that if the drug testing or the oral screen cannot be completed, that the parents be required to wear PPE?
Yes.
Did Miss Weaver drug test for you?
She did.
Okay. And is that why you're continuing to request these requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd like to inform the court of today?
Not at this time.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any questions from anyone for Ms. Greenleaf?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, you may.
All right, Ms. Greenleaf, considering the concerns of the admissions by Ms. Johnson and drug testing, were the children tested?
Once they were brought into foster care, the pediatrician did recommend drug testing be done on the 2 children. One drug test was completed for the oldest baby, and she did test positive in her hair for methamphetamines. The test wasn't completed on the 4-month-old due to him having not enough hair.
What, didn't she also test positive for marijuana?
Yes, ma'am, she did. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
and
yes, she did.
that is the type of drug Ms. Johnson stated she uses occasionally.
Yes,
And these children were living in her home with the mother at the beginning of the investigation.
yes, they were.
All right, I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for witness Ms. Davis?
Your Honor, are you, before I call Ms. Kamek, are you looking to possibly place with Ms. Johnson today?
Not
Or
today.
not today? Okay, so I don't need to continue with that line of questioning.
Correct.
Okay, I have no further witnesses then.
All right, thank you. Ms. McPherson, you may call your client.
Yes, Miss Weaver.
Yes.
Okay. You've heard the testimony, and you are currently, you're in agreement for the department taking temporary managing conservatorship. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are wanting to work services and be able to get your children returned home to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, you don't agree with everything that's in the affidavit, correct?
Right.
And I know that you want your mother to be looked at for placement, but you heard the court say he's not going to place today. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Now, I saw you shake your head a little bit when it was announced someone in Wood.
Yeah, because that's not his family. That's not
Okay, but is
family.
it someone that has a close relationship with the children that would be safe
No.
and appropriate?
They don't even know our kids really.
Okay. If there's not your mother, is there anybody else that you would like to have considered?
No.
I would like you to consider thinking about others if possible, just in case your mother is not approved, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And get that information to me as soon as possible and to the department. And you don't know how long you will be in the Hardin County Jail, do you?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. Would you be requesting, and you've met with Ms. Kamick already?
I've already met with her. She's already seen me twice since I've been in here.
Okay, so you know who she is. And has she given you some indications of some stuff that you can do while you're incarcerated?
I'm already doing AA while I'm in here. And right now, those are the only services that they allow me to do while I'm in here is AA.
And I think I indicated to you that there might be some kind of parenting packet, and if that is available, would you like to start working on that while you're in there?
Definitely, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you understand that you will be, once you're out and before a visit, you'll have to submit to an oral screen, or if it's not available, that you'll have to wear protective clothing, masks, all of that until you're negative for any concerning transferable drugs. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am, that's fine.
Okay, and you understand that we have I believe a family group conference on March 2nd.
Yes, ma'am, I think you told me that already.
Okay. And so you'll have to let the jail know that you need to participate in that if you're still there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to the court to know before I pass you as a witness?
No, ma'am.
I'll pass you as a witness.
All right, thank you. Any questions from anyone for Ms. Weaver?
I have a few, Your Honor.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Weaver, who is the family you believe that dad is wanting the children placed?
It was people that he had worked for before.
Okay, do you know their names?
I do not remember their names because, like I said, he only worked for them like a couple months.
Okay, so this is somebody you believe that he only knew for a couple of months and you don't even know, you couldn't even identify them by name?
No, I couldn't.
And these are also people that have absolutely no relationship or even know your children. Is that true?
They've only put eyes on my kids twice. That's it.
Do you have any concerns about the way they live or whether they do drugs or on
That, no, I have no concern on that. They are good people. It's
Okay.
just they don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not family.
Sure, and you want your kids, I'm assuming your mom has a close bond with your kids and that's where you want them to be, right?
Right, yes.
And I am the attorney for the kids, but the judge is going to appoint a CASA as a guardian ad litem, so that'll give a second person the opportunity to meet your mom, go out there and see if there can be an agreement, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Did your kids have any medical concerns or needs before this happened?
No, they were doing good.
Who was their pediatrician, or who did you go to for well checks and stuff?
It was Miss, I can't think of her name.
And that's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if
No,
you,
it was the old Dr. Awire, and they've done switched pediatricians 2 different times, so I can't think of her name right now.
that's okay. If you do think of it, will you give it to your lawyer or Miss Kamek, your caseworker?
Yes, I will.
Perfect. Okay. And are you are you not getting out because you can't bond out, or there is no bond, or do you know?
No, I have a bond. I just don't want nobody to have to put up anything
The
for
money.
me.
I understand.
Because I'm in here because of me, not because of anything else. So I need to sit here and do what I have to do. for my-
Okay, that is very responsible adult thing to say. So that's good. Okay. I just I hope that you can work the services and get your kiddos back, okay?
I'm trying.
I know. Pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Any questions further from anyone for Ms. Weaver?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wright, you may call your client.
I'd like to call Erin Langford.
All right.
Okay. Can you hear me? Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You are willing to agree for the department to have temporary managing conservatorship of the children, but you do not agree with most of the allegations in the affidavit. Is that true?
That is correct.
And you're asking that the children be placed with Ms. Johnston. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm with Miss Johnson, but if that fails, what I was asking, saying that these are the people that I have requested, instead of them ending up in the system in foster care, these people are really good people. They would take care of them. That's what I was getting at. It wasn't like
And
them before Ms. Johnson.
I have sent those names to the parties, and it's your boss, and these folks live in, is that right?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
And it's Mark, his wife, and then
Yeah.
and her mother lives next door, and that's the phone number I provided. That's the only one you had. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I had more, but whenever I got shipped, when the fugitive services came and got me, they shipped me. They took all my property, so that's the only number I remember in my head. But once you call her, they took all my property, so that's the only number I remember in my head. But once you call her, she will actually give you all the information you need. But this was only intended in case Miss Johnson failed. That's it. Other than that, because I wouldn't hate to see them just go to foster care.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to ask that they be looked at. And now you told me that you are being held right now on a parole violation. Is that correct?
Correct. And I will be done with this violation in 4 months.
Okay.
Yes.
But you're willing to work any services that you can during that 4 months while you're incarcerated. Is that correct?
That is correct. You point me in the direction and I'll climb.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right. Thank you. Any questions of Mr.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right. Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Langford? No one. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Any witnesses, Ms. Hollier?
I don't know if Miss McGallion feels comfortable with me calling her at this point. No? Okay. Well, maybe she means yes. You tell me, Tiffany.
Not at this time. I mean, I don't have anything that I can testify to.
Okay, I understand. So, Your Honor, no, I do not have any witnesses. It's my recommendation that the department be named temporary managing conservator, and the children remain in their placement. I will request that as soon as Ms. Johnson's home study can be made available to the parties, I would love to take a look at it. In agreement with the parents working services in order to get their children returned. I believe that that's in the children's best interest. Right now, I do think that there's some issues or concerns that need to be looked at medically, and maybe some a CANS assessment on these kiddos would be beneficial. So I'm asking the department to make sure that happens in their placement. I did talk to placement previous to our last setting. I was unable to actually make contact this time, but the children were adjusting well, and they were brought for their medical checkup, and the things that were concerning are being followed up on. So I feel comfortable that they're comfortable right now, and I'm certainly open to family. I just don't want to overwhelm anyone, or I just want to make sure these kiddos get all the evaluations they need prior to settling in. And that's my recommendation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hollier. Ms. Greenleaf, remind me, your testimony was that the grandmother admitted to using marijuana in the home, but she was not tested, correct?
I did submit maternal grandmother and paternal grandfather. Miss Johnson did test positive for marijuana, and Mr. Johnson did not. Okay.
Was Ms. Johnson's a hair follicle or a urinalysis?
It was they were both urine.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The court will take under advisement any placement of the children, a child or the children with Ms. Johnson. We will, I'm sure, revisit that issue at the status hearing. So I should go ahead and say the court does approve of the agreement. Based on the agreement, the evidence does make the requisite 262 findings, names the department as the temporary managing conservator of the children. Now, we have everyone here. We have mom, dad, grandma, everyone here attorneys, workers, is anyone aware of any Alaskan or Native American heritage membership or membership eligibility on either side of the House? Mom, if I can get you to unmute, you appear to be.
No.
Okay. All right. And thank you. Mr. Langford?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Ms. Johnson, if you're aware of any, please chime in, let me know. Ms. Kamek, can you tell us when the family group is going to be?
It is scheduled for the 2nd, I think at 2:30.
Okay.
Thursday the 2nd.
Okay.
And I did interview Miss Johnson, Miss Weaver, and Mr. Langford and his mom, actually. And all of them stated that there are no known Native American blood. So.
All right. Thank you very much. And so you indicated, I'm sorry, you interviewed the maternal and the paternal grandmothers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And the paternal grandmother actually spoke. Well, actually, both of them did, for both the dad's side and the mom's side. So Aaron's dad doesn't have any and his mom doesn't have any.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. The court is going to order that a redacted copy of Ms. Johnson's home study be completed and disseminated to the attorneys in the case. I am going to order that the requirements prior to any in-person visits remain in place. In other words, an instant test positive for meth requires the parents to do the PPE thing. And if an instant test is not positive, then they shall wear the PPEs before during any in-person visits. Mom and Dad, you heard about the family group conference on the 2nd, which is coming up this Thursday. Now, at that meeting, you will, together with the department and several others, and you all will be able to invite people as well, but in conference with the department, and it will be a give and take and an exchange of ideas. You all will come up, when that meeting's finished, you'll come up with family plans of service, a list of tasks, resources, classes, evaluations, and the like to address any and all needs, concerns that gave rise to us being here. Services so that you might work, demonstrate, acquire any new knowledge or skills, make any permanent changes you need to make so that you might be able to provide a safe environment for your children. That's what we all want at this stage. Now, once that plan is formulated at that meeting, it's going to become in all likelihood an order of the court at the status hearing on March the 21st, okay, March the 21st at 9 a.m. Now, if during the life of this case, you don't work your services or you do some things, but you haven't demonstrated a change to address the concerns, the department could in the future use that as a ground to seek the termination of your parental rights. So don't let that happen. You, under oath, indicated that you all are ready, willing, and able to work services. And at this point, I believe you. So work your services every time we're together. And I might have already said this, if I have, bear with me, but the law requires me to admonish you that if at the end of this case, you're not willing and able to provide a safe environment for your children, your parental rights may be further restricted or even terminated permanently. I don't believe you want that to happen. I do believe you understand that. So the long and the short of it is don't let it. Don't let it. So thank you very much for your appearances today and for your agreement. Let me look over my notes really quickly. If there, Ms. Hollier, Ms. McGallion, Ms. Davis, if there need be some order regarding the medical concerns and or cans, then just submit it to me and we'll do it by submission.
Sir. Sir.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you can hear me. Speaking of orders, in order for the inmate to participate in the family conference, I would need a court order submitted from someone that I can have that approved by the warden in order for him to participate.
We will prepare that, Your Honor.
Very, very good. And so
if
that's
it's possible to
that's
get
gonna,
it done.
That's
And
gonna,
I wanted to confirm, I showed 10 a.m. and Ms. Kamick said 2:30.
I think she said 2:45.
I
Okay,
had
she said-
requested it be the morning. I haven't gotten anything, so.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. I don't know why I had 2:30 on the brain, but it is on the 2nd from 10 to 12.
All right. So 10 to noon on Thursday the 2nd. So,
Yes, sir.
ma'am, at the Bird Unit, thank you very much for that. Ms. Wright, I will sign an order to that effect as soon as I see it.
I was told to ask if y'all are gonna send something to the Hardin County Jail to let them know about it, or.
And the same would go for that, Ms. McPherson. Yeah. So now, you'll not get the Zoom information from Ms. Wallingford like with court, but y'all know how to do this, but I will sign the order. And it may
Thank you. And I would like to thank the Bird Unit. They've been very, very helpful and cooperative about getting Mr. Langford here.
Yes.
Short notice.
Okay. Yes, the court would echo that. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right. With that, take care. We'll see you all back again March the 21st, and good luck at your family group on March the 2nd at 10. Okay. All right. You're excused. I'll sign orders to that effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Lockwood.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. So we are down to the Kerr